Well, good evening, everyone, and welcome to a new live episode of He Said, He Said, He Said, a look at the world from a seasoned Black man's perspective. I'm your host, Alvin King, and thank you all for joining us tonight. I hope everybody's doing well, and I want to get this out in the air right now. Happy Mother's Day weekend to all the mothers out there, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know. My mom passed a while back, but today I woke up with her on my heart. So for each of you who have moms, or if you know, please show some love to her this weekend, because this is her weekend. I hope everybody's having a great week. I know I wake up in the morning and I ask myself all the time, what's going on today? And yesterday was no exception. Dr. Carla Hayden, appointed in 2016 by President Barack Obama as the first woman and first African American to serve as Library of Congress, was dismissed from her position by the President Donald Trump yesterday, 1 year before the end of her 10th year term. Her termination delivered via a brief email from the White House's Presidential Personnel Office followed criticism from conservative groups accusing her of promoting radical literature and opposing Trump. The dismissal has drawn strong condemnation from Democratic leaders who praised Hayden's contribution to modernizing the Library of Congress and expanding access to underrepresented communities, and labeled the move as politically motivated and damaging to national values. I want to thank you, Dr. Hayden, for all the work that you have done these past 9 years at the Library of Congress. I just want to thank you again from the bottom of my heart. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I hear music in the air, and about our show tonight. It is in honor of Black Gay Pride Weekend, and tonight we will pay tribute and honor the legacy of the legendary Clubhouse and the 50th anniversary of the iconic Children's Hour. For those of you who are not familiar, from 1975 to its grand finale in 1990, the Children's Hour brought 15 years of unforgettable celebrations to Black LGBTQIA+ life in Washington, D.C., including the musical fabric of My Life. We're thrilled to welcome Clubhouse founder John Eddy, along with DJs JJ, Chosen, and Mandrill, all here to share memories of that incredible era. Plus, and we see you tonight, Jordan, aka DJ Tantra, producer of the tribute to DJ Sam the Man Burns, happening Saturday, May the 24th as part of the Capitol House Music Festival. And of course, we will share all the details about the 50th anniversary celebration of Children's Hour on Sunday, May the 25th at Club Bravo. It will be a weekend of house music beyond our wildest dreams, ladies and gentlemen. And just like that, the smoke cleared, no pun intended, we have a new Pope, American Cardinal Robert F. Prevost, who's 69 years old, from Chicago, is now Pope Leo XIV, and is the first American Pope in history. And boy, does he have a big job. He has to oversee 1.4 billion Catholic members under his watch. Welcome to the fold, Pope Leo XIV. We're glad that you're here. Also, May is Mental Health Awareness Month, and it was founded in order to designate the month to raise awareness about mental health and wellness, reduce stigma, and encourage support for those affected. The goal is to educate the public about mental health conditions, to promote research and treatment, and celebrate recovery. I'm a huge fan of mental wellness. I'm telling everybody, please, check on yourself if you can. I did give my producer a website, www.mahnational.org. And this is an organization that you can go to check out different programs that are available to you in mental health. And they even have a platform where if you click on it, you can kind of test yourself to see if you possibly have any mental health illnesses. I haven't done it, so I'm just letting you know that that's something that you can do. How you doing, Kendall? Welcome to the show tonight, my brother. I appreciate you being here. And last but not least, I want to say congratulations to all the graduates of 2025 this year. There's a lot of graduations going on, and they could not have done it without the teachers, the educators. This week is Teacher Appreciation Week, and I wanted to say, congratulations to all the teachers. And I specifically wanted to close this before we go into the chat, because my favorite guy is an educator, ladies and gentlemen. So if you all are ready, let's get on with the chat.
This educator feels.
What's up, Bobby? My favorite educator. How you doing?
Well, and thank you so much. Yes, it was a great faculty, staff, teacher, educator appreciation week at my school. Our Parents Association showed out. I got a Visa gift card. I got a T-shirt, blankets, cookies with our names. Like, they showed out. So we felt the love at my school.
Well, I think about you. So you've had a good week. Let me say that.
It's been a good week. The weather has been really strange. We had very, very warm weather to very cold and rainy weather, but it's all good. I'm not complaining, man. We're here. And I've been so excited all this week about this show, because it's obviously what we do every Friday night, but this one really feels personal, because you and I have talked about the fact that, as you said, the Clubhouse was part of our growth. We're DC boys. Like, this hits home for us.
DC boys. And what's really ironic, when you think about it, 50 years of our lives have been affiliated with the Clubhouse.
Well, wait, are we old enough to be? Oh, I guess so. Yeah.
Well, come on now. As tight as my skin is, yes, I'm gonna claim it. Yes, I still, 50 years of my life was part of the Clubhouse, absolutely. And so, I am just. Again, doing this show with you tonight, like you said, is very special. Yep. And, we do miss Sean.
We do, because we are only he said tonight. You're right.
But we're going to do a he said tonight. We are.
He's here with us.
Thank you for being here tonight, my friend. Thank you.
My joy. This is special. It's very special. It's a special place for us,
I'm sorry. Go ahead. I'm sorry, Bobby.
I was just going to say, the Clubhouse held a very, very special place, particularly in my heart, growing up here in DC, again, as a young, Black, gay, young man growing up and, facing the challenges that we face in this world and showing up in our true, authentic identity. The Clubhouse presented a safe space, a place where we could go and just simply dance the night away. And Lord knows, I certainly did many a night. I own that I would come out of that Clubhouse and the sun was rising, and I loved it.
They call that the walk of shame now.
But there was no shame.
When I think about what the Clubhouse meant to me and I think about now, the first word that comes to me is safe. I could go to the Clubhouse. I didn't have to worry about, first of all, somebody fighting in the middle of the dance floor. I didn't have to worry about someone spilling a drink on me. I didn't have to worry about someone bumping into me or trying to get in my space while I'm trying to get my groove on. It was just a wonderful moment in my life. And I all I can say, there was nothing like it. So kudos to everyone, who made that happen. And we're lucky enough to have them here with us tonight. So
absolutely.
Absolutely. We definitely are. I do want to ask you though, Bobby.
Yes.
The Clubhouse is all about the music.
Absolutely.
And the experience.
Absolutely.
So, is there a certain well, you know what? Before I do that, I'm going to just tell you my favorite song at the Clubhouse.
Okay.
And before we do that, Bobby, let's say hello to some of these folks who are coming in, because some of them we saw on the dance floor. Okay, we did. Okay. 50 years ago. George, welcome, welcome, George.
Hey, George.
Carol Gardner, I've never seen you before, but thank you. Has Carol been on the show before? I don't know, but welcome.
I don't know, but we welcome her.
welcome. And Sean, thank you for joining in, our brother. We miss you. Michelle Bowie is here, and she was there. Right.
Always.
Greg Scott, Kendall. He's a Connecticut boy, but he was equally excited. Yeah. He said he loved the Clubhouse, so he came down here. Blue is here tonight. Get out of here.
Now.
George, like I said, and my brother Darren from Delaware is here tonight, ladies and gentlemen. So thank you all. Thank you all for being here tonight. Well, I was asking Bobby about one of the songs that was near and dear to my heart, that every time I hear it today, it reminds me of the Clubhouse. And one of my favorites is by two artists by the name of 2 Tons of Fun.
Oh, yes.
And they had a song called Just Us. And it was something about, I wish we could play it on the phone and not, on the show and not get shut down. But there was something about that song, Just Us, that just, whenever I would hear it, it took me through a series of emotions. I could be on the dance floor hugging. I could be on the dance floor grooving. I could be on the dance floor having a conversation, but the music was still in the air.
Yeah.
And that's one of my favorite jams from that era. Mm-hmm.
For me, I think it would be Bohannon's hit, Let's Start to Dance Again.
Ooh.
That, I think the combination of the beat, I've been watching you all night. Don't you want to dance? Get on up and dance. Ain't you tired of sitting down? Those lyrics and the sound system of the Clubhouse, like the music would literally permeate through you.
Yeah.
And it just was, it just brings back such fond memories when, as you were saying, like, now sometimes when you go out, you got to go through all these metal detectors and you're worried about this and that and all that. And somebody pulling out a gun and shooting. So all we did was dance. We went in there and danced literally all night long.
I remember first of all, hey, Rodney. Rodney said Disco Circus. See, okay, Rodney is a true Clubhouse fan. Okay. So yeah, I remember dancing to Bohannon and splitting my pants one night.
Oh, wow.
And did I leave the club?
Anyone raise your hand if that surprises anybody who's like, no. Because they might have been form fitted.
All I can say, I split my pants and I don't remember going home. Okay. All right.
Wait, you split your pants and what?
I don't remember going home.
I was going to say, because we know you didn't go home just because you split them.
And that's a new talk show, and we're going to move on. But I thank you for that, Bobby. Well, also this week.
Nothing but love for the Clubhouse. Yeah.
Before we get to the talk of the week, Bobby, was of course the Met Gala.
Absolutely.
And we're here tonight, ladies and gentlemen. We're here to talk about the looks, because the Met Gala hit on this past Monday, and the fashion gods were either smiling or side-eyeing some of the fashions that we saw that night. But tonight here on He Said, Bobby and I are serving our takes hot and fresh as we break it down into 3 delicious categories. The first category is who understood the assignment.
Mm-hmm.
Our second category is our favorite dandy couple. And the last category is who missed the memo and needed a do-over. Okay? But before we get started, because some of you have been asking, what does dandy mean, damn it? So I'm going to tell you, according to the Met Gala, what it meant. This is the 79th Met Gala event. It has raised more money than any Met Gala in history. And the term dandy is, according to the Met Gala, is redefined within the context of Black dandyism, a style and ethos that has evolved over 300 years, rooted in defiance, elegance, and self-definition. Did you all see some of that on that runway?
Absolutely.
The Met Gala's superfine tailoring Black style theme explores Black individuals that have embraced and transformed dandyism, using it as a form of resistance, self-expression, and reclaiming their identity.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. That's what the Met said.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, that's what the Met said. So,
Well, I also think, the attention to detail, the bespoke tailoring, the fine fit, All of that goes into it. And we were talking about the way that Black dandyism also represents an opportunity for us to be able to express ourselves and artistically through our fashion and our style, and almost represent ourselves. How do we want to show up? And in the dandyism spirit, it is about fine tailoring, form fitted, and just a sense of elegance through expression.
Well, you know, and I definitely get that, but I have to break it down into layman's terms for me, because I call myself, you know, when I think about my own personal style, I'm a mood dresser. I'm a mood dresser. So the term, you know, for me, dandy is not just about the aesthetics. It's about using clothing and personal style, and even my humor as a form of defiance and self-expression, particularly for me as a Black individual. And so, yeah, I had to break it down like that. And it helped me to appreciate some of the looks that we saw that night. So,
I like that.
Yeah. So if you're ready, Bobby, we're going to, ladies and gentlemen, first of all, we're going to give you who we thought got the assignment right. Okay, ladies and gentlemen. So if we're going to ask our producer, just go ahead, of course. Zendaya, ladies and gentlemen, Zendaya wrecked the house in Louis Vuitton. This is one of our favorites. We can keep the images rolling, because I tell you, we have a couple that we want to make sure that we get through. This is Jodie Turner-Smith.
Burberry, leather.
Bingo. She hit the nail right on the head. And then we have Jeremy O. Smith, who I thought Bobby and I both picked him. Right?
Yeah. Came to slay. Not playing dandyism.
And he had on Balmain. And then there was Lizzo, okay, who I thought represented the big girls. Oops, represented the full figure girls.
Okay,
let me be politically correct. She did that, and she did that in Christian Siriano. So I gave her a plus on that.
Then we went a slightly different direction with the one and only Bad Bunny, who was sporting Prada.
Now, was he one? He wasn't one of the chairs, was he? No, he was not.
No,
he was not. He was not. He could have been. Justin Smith was one of my favorites also in Valentino. I thought that he took this scarf to a whole new level and made it work without it being gaudy or just all over the place.
Clear statement. Yes.
Yeah. And there were people who some of you all don't even know, because all they do is walk up and down the runway. Right. And this was Ugbad Abdi and Michael Kors, and she was one of my all-time favorites as well. Yeah. And Savannah James, who is the wife of LeBron James.
Correct.
Who came by herself.
One of the official honorary chairs. Yes.
So I thought she hit it.
Okay. Just give it just a second. This is Mona Patel and Tom Brown. And when I tell you, when I saw this outfit, I literally screamed, because I want you all to notice not just the tailoring. I want you to look at her, look at the beauty of the detailing in that outfit. And if you didn't see it, she has a robotic dog handbag that goes with this outfit as well.
Mona did what needed to be done.
Mona came to slay. Mona Patel.
And last but not least on our They Got the Memo list was none other than Janelle Monáe.
Yes.
Okay. Again in Tom Brown.
Yes. And this was a multi-layered outfit as well, because that top part came off, and this is what was under it. Slated. But we couldn't let you go without showing you some of her accessories. And look at that.
This was the shoe of choice for Janelle Monáe. Now, some of us couldn't walk. We couldn't walk from our bedroom to the bathroom in this, but she did it all night. Okay.
Cheers to those
who got the memo. And now, real quick, we're going to move to our dandy couple. These are the couples that we thought came out and did just an amazing job. And Bobby and I were only supposed to pick two, but you know, this person doesn't come out too much, so I gave my first one to Colin Kaepernick and his wife Nsetti. I thought Colin Kaepernick was a sight to behold that night. Yeah, I thought.
Yeah. I thought someone had been there with those scissors going around that afro like
all night long.
That was beautiful. We also thought about Russell Wilson and his wife Sierra, of course, who were absolutely beautiful and elegant together there.
I didn't know who to look at the most, but they, as a couple, I looked at both of them. Okay.
Well, and that's saying a lot. We know our audience.
we do. And last but not least,
co-chair ASAP Rocky with his wife, obviously the one and only fashionista, Rihanna.
These are our dandy couples, ladies and gentlemen. And now, before we close, we have to show you who we felt missed the mark. And this one right here, he needs to stick to running up and down, up and down, up and down. But do not go to Kmart and get another dress and come to the Met Ball.
So that was my choice. Yes.
This is my choice. Sha'Carri Richardson just did not. This is my personal choice for who didn't show up correctly at the Met Ball.
Now, my choice is going to be, I'm sure not a popular choice, but I'm sorry. I thought this was disastrous. I don't see anything dandy about this at all. And I really felt that it was a missed moment, because had Mother Ross come in there in something that was tailored to fit that body of hers at her age, she literally could have taken that house down. And she did. There are people who give her deference for being Dinah Ross and fabulousness and all of that. But that was a missed moment in my book. Love you, Miss Ross.
I'm not going to spend time, ladies and gentlemen. He will be here next week. I'm not canceling him from the show.
I've not been dismissed.
He has not been dismissed. But I think he got that totally wrong. And at 81 years old, Dinah Ross showed people that she was the boss. She showed people that was her house and she lived there. Okay.
She showed people she had a very long train, is what she
and
showed.
She said, "Remember me." Okay. She brought every song she ever made.
What did Blue just say? What did he just say, Robert?
Too much for her.
Way too much. It was overpowering.
First, Blue, when you turn 81 next year, you let me know. You let me know. Well, you let me know how you do it. But thank you and Bobby. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for it. Well, let me say hello to some of these folks. Chris Jordan is here. Chris, thank you for joining us tonight. Samuel Amer is here. Aaron Kelly is here. Thank you, Michelle, for weighing in. Thank you all for being here tonight. We appreciate it, because we do have a wonderful show that we got planned for you guys. So
Absolutely.
We're about to move on. So are you ready, Bobby, to
I'm ready. I'm excited.
Jump into this show?
We got a full house tonight, literally.
Ladies and gentlemen, as I told you, we are here to talk about, the legendary Clubhouse. And none of us can do that. None of us can do that on this show, or who's watching the show, without having the one person here who made it all happen. Mm-hmm. So, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the He Said stage, the founder, John Eddy of the historic Clubhouse.
Hello, everyone.
John! What are you doing?
I'm doing great.
Oh, thank you for joining us tonight.
Thank you
very, very much for inviting me to He Said. I've been waiting only for 45 years for this.
Thank you so much for joining us this evening.
Well, I guess you got me before I decided to kill over.
Well, that's okay. Well, look, that makes three of us, okay? But thank you, John, for being here. And I know we only have you for a short moment, but again, we cannot do a show like this without, having you. So, John, again, we're honored to have you here with us on the show tonight. And we know that the Clubhouse was your idea and you were one of the founding members. Can you, give us a moment, take us back to the beginning when how it all started?
Do I have that much time?
You got about 2 minutes. Okay, yeah.
He knew it was an impossible question. Go on, you're going to do it.
Give us what you got.
Let me kind of regress a little bit and give an overview. back in, let's say, 1969, 1970, there was really no place in Washington, D.C. for Black LGBTQ people to go. No place, especially the younger crowd. So me and a few friends, we developed a club called the Metropolitan Capitalites. We met at 4011 14th Street Northwest, and would you believe it or not, in a minister's house.
Oh, well, yes.
I just served some dirt, didn't I? His name was Reverend Burton. And so we negotiated with Reverend Burton to use his big basement to have parties every other week. At that time, they used to call them rent parties, but we wasn't having rent parties. We just was collecting money, to pay for buying music. At that time, believe it or not, our music was on cassettes and 8-track tapes. And I made the cassettes and 8-track tapes during the week, brought them to the party, and we partied all night long to 2 or 3 in the morning. After a while, 4011 got a little bit too small for us, and we had to kind of limit the number of people that could come, although we was only charging $1 to get in. So at that time, I had a motorcycle, a nice little Yamaha 400, and I talked to the other members of the Metropolitan Capitalites. So I think it was 5, maybe 6 of us. I said, look, I think we need to branch out into something different. I said, because this is not really working. It's too many people that want to come. So we got to do something different. So they agreed to let me go out and look for a place. So I hopped on my little motorcycle and I drove southeast, southwest, northeast, and northwest, looking for a facility, looking for any kind of place. We didn't have that much money. And as I was about to give up 3 blocks from where I was living on Fort Totten Drive, I saw this bar and it had a couple of motorcycles in front. I said, I wonder what's going on there. So I drove over and parked and went inside. And what I found out, to my disbelief, I just came into a white bikers bar.
Oh, wow.
In DC?
In DC, the last one. 221 Riggs Road, Northeast. But it was obscure. And so I saw a lady behind the bar. So I walked up. There was only like 3 customers in there. And of course, they gave me that look. Like, nigga, what you doing in here?
Oh, okay, man.
So I asked, I said, can I talk to the owner? So she said, well, I'm one of the owners, me and my husband. My name is Lois. I said, this is a good time to talk about business. She said, if you could come back tomorrow and my husband is here, we could probably talk some business. I said, well, at least she didn't kick my ass out. So I thanked her for entertaining me. I came back the next day, which was on a Saturday. This was on a Friday. And I propositioned her and her husband. I said, I think this place has a basement. And they said, yes, it do. I said, do you use it? They said, no, we don't use it. I said, can I see it? So they took me downstairs. And I said, wow, this would be ideal. It's like 3 times the size of 4011. So I negotiated with them to rent the basement. One thing which was good about the basement, it had an entrance off the side, off the parking lot. So her customers could come in the front door as they had been coming. And our clients could come in through the side door once they parked their cars. It was very discreet. It's almost like I was saying at the Clubhouse, you would know if you belong. So if you wasn't going there, you didn't know how to get there.
Right.
So we kind of did a little light remodeling, boofed it up the best we can. We was the first place there that had a DJ booth and 2 turntables. And the first night we opened the doors, the place was packed. And I told Andre and my other partner, Chase, I said, we underestimated ourselves here. So we partied and partied. Later on, the place got to the point that it shut down after 1 year.
Too many people?
No. DC government shut it down.
Oh. Some things never change, huh?
Yes, some things never change. And what had happened is that the landlord had not paid their taxes, nor paid their rent. And we were locked out. So the children would be coming to the parking lot. Can't get in. So we had to be standing in the parking lot, apologizing, telling them, hey, this is not our fault, but we're working on it. So I took it upon myself to go downtown, talk to the tax people. We got a settlement. Then I found out through property records who the landlord was. Went and talked to him. and he agreed to rent it to me because he didn't want to go through the hassle of trying to re-rent the place, remodel, whatever. So then it became Zodiac Den, which now we have a bar upstairs and a dance floor downstairs. So the Zodiac Den had two unique features. At that time, it was only men. And it just so happened that I went to Puerto Rico and went to a couple of clubs. I said, hey, there's something different here. And I noticed that the girls and the guys were partying together. I said, hey, why can't we do this in DC?
What a concept. Okay.
Yeah, so I came back. I talked to Andre. I talked to Chase. They said, oh, no, they're going to fight. They're going to place that. You can't bring them in here. I said, look, they don't have a place to go because I think it was phase one, phase two, but they were racist also.
Yeah.
And so the Black women didn't really have a place to go. So we encountered Magoo. You all know who Magoo is?
Our viewers don't, but I do. I know who Magoo is. Mm-hmm.
Okay, can you share with us a little bit about Magoo?
No. Keep going. No, they don't know. You know, we know we know that Magoo was a staple in this story. Let's keep it there. Keep going.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I encountered Magoo. So I talked to Magoo. I invited her up to the club. I said, Magoo, I know the women don't have a place to go, and I want to have an experiment, but I need you to keep them in place, on track, and don't tee up the club. She agreed to do that. So I said, well, you go out and bring as many women as you can. So we decided to set the front of the club up for the women initially, and the back of the club for the guys. But they ended up intermixing with no problem.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
We had no issues. We partied sometime. The rain would fall down from the ceilings. It was so hot in there. In fact, one of my most memorable moments, we were about to close because it had snowed, maybe 9 or 10 inches of snow.
Ooh.
And I told Andre, hell, ain't nobody coming out here tonight. And just as I was about to close the door, I looked out on the parking lot and cars was coming in left and right. I said, wow. So we ended up staying open an extra hour now.
Well, let me ask you this, John. When you were doing this, though, when could you have ever imagined that the Clubhouse was going to become the legendary place that it ended up being? Did it cross you all's mind at all?
No, it didn't. And I'll get to that point a little later. I didn't really imagine it till we opened the doors. Anyway, so moving right along to about like 1970, 74, we had kind of outgrown the third world. Andre and I had went up to New York and we went to the loft. And I said, wow, this is a great place here. I told Andre, I said, we need something like this in DC. And he agreed. I said, well, let me come back and pitch it to everybody else. So we came back. And I said, look, we need to change our direction. Third World was a profit-making venture. We need a new corporation, which would be a non-profit-making venture because we need to get open as quickly as possible because we have limited funds. They said, well, you find a place like you found the other two places. By now, I had a new motorcycle, a Yamaha 500. She was fast and pretty. And so again, I went all through DC looking for a place, and I happened to go down Upshur Street, and I saw a warehouse. I said, that looks like a warehouse. So I stopped, took down the address, went down to the DC records, and found out who the owner was. And I called the guy, and he agreed to meet me. Then after we met, he had said that the place had been vacant 2 or 3 years. He couldn't find nobody to rent it. So I said, oh, well, you got somebody now. So we kind of met. We had a good meeting of the minds to get the rent the right place. So between 1974 and 1975, with the help of many of the third world members and many of the people who later became our staff, we remodeled the clubhouse and opened the doors on Mother's Day, 1975.
Wow.
This weekend.
Yeah.
This weekend.
Amazing. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Now I'm loving the history. Okay, I'm living through that right now. Okay. So, I want to make sure that you give us some history, but I want to keep it moving because we got to bring the other folks on because you're like the history book. Okay, so you're that guy. So
and that's when I stopped for your next question.
Okay. So go. I think Bobby had asked you about how did you know that it was a success or was going to, when did you know that?
Well, we really didn't know it because, see, at the time we opened the doors, we only had 200 members that was booked. Mm-hmm. And the clubhouse is 4,000 square feet, big east side and west side.
So when you say booked, are you suggesting that it was a membership at one point, correct?
It was a membership totally. Mm-hmm. We actually had two memberships, a Friday night membership, which is for so-called straight bi people, and a Saturday night for LGBT people and whomever. Mm-hmm. So we only had 200 members for basically LGBT Saturday night people. But when we opened the doors, there was a line up the street around the block. And we could not believe it because we only had 200 members. But once I calculated later, well, each member could bring 2 guests. However, they could call in up to 10. Mm-hmm. So many members had called in their 10 guests plus bought 2. At that point, I knew that we were going to be a success.
Well, Eddie, one of the biggest things about the clubhouse that people didn't understand or may not know that I'd like for you to share with us is that it became a pillar in the Black community, LGBTQI plus community, especially during the AIDS crisis in the 80s. And the clubhouse helped to support the founding of Impact, which later became us helping us, people into living. Can you just share with us, briefly what it was like navigating through those difficult 80s with so much uncertainty and loss?
Well, somewhere about 1984, 85, we kind of noticed where there was a tremendous drop in our membership. Mm. And we started discussing there's something going on in the community that we don't seem to have a handle on. Mm. The clubhouse was not just a party place because we were totally involved in the community. We had political rallies, we had a dance team, a football team, a baseball team, a karate group. So we was totally in the community. In the 15 years that we were there, would you believe we never had a complaint and we never called the police? And we had up to 4,000 people in there, never had to call the police. And what I can't understand, because when I used to come in on the late shift, when we turned on Big Bertha, the extra speakers that you all were talking about earlier, right. I could hear them 4 blocks up the street.
Correct.
We were in a residential neighborhood.
Correct.
Hundreds of people. Nobody called the police.
Correct.
They were enjoying the music.
Correct.
So when Andre and Rainey and a couple of other clubhouse members came to me and said, can we open up for a clinic for AIDS information? Anything we can do to help the community. I said, of course, let's do it right away. So we had doctors to come in. We had counselors to come in, and we started getting involved in what was happening to our community.
Wow. It was critical. It was critical. Now, now when businesses are run, they have the use of such modern technology and being able to keep things running and so forth. How big was the staff, and how did you all keep that business running back then? Because we didn't have all this technology that we have today.
Well, I guess you can say I was a visionary more or less, because we had a computer at the door the first day we opened up. It had a cassette drive. That's how old it was.
I love it.
Later on, it graduated to floppy disk and later on to a hard drive.
Yeah.
So every member that came in, before they could pay to get in, we checked them in. We had a tremendous mailing list, which we sent out mailings almost twice a month to the members, keeping them advised of what was happening. When we had special events, we'd send out special mailings such as this that had program of everything that was happening at the clubhouse for that special event. And I
think I want you to sign that for me. I think if you have an extra copy, I need to have that. But continue on. I'm sorry.
We had a great staff. We had a fantastic staff. Most of the members who did not pass away was with us from beginning to end.
That's a blessing.
The staff was so great that one year we had a good year that I took them all to Puerto Rico for 3 days.
Wow.
So I think with us just staying in communication with people and giving people a place to come, have the party they can't have at home, to dance, to shout, to be themselves. We had people that come and put their choir robes in the coat room. And
you
when
know what?
Sunday morning, they
You,
put the
you,
hot robes
you,
on and put the
you,
coats on and went to church.
you know what? You're getting ready to expose some people, okay?
I
And
wasn't
now,
planning on leaving and the sun's coming up. That's all I'm saying.
and now some of them are pastors and bishops, and so
I know
that's
some
all.
of them.
He didn't say
That's
a
all.
name. He didn't say a name.
I'm not gonna mess with that. But look, John, look, I have one more question for you before we let you go, because we are here tonight to talk about what you started, and we're on the 50th anniversary. We're celebrating the 50th anniversary of Children's Hour. And again, nobody like myself or Bobby know what like Children's Hour was like. So being that was the crown jewel, for many, it was like the highlight of Memorial Day weekend. Share with us the magic that, of that moment and the legacy that DJ Tito, the Clubhouse, he was like your epic house DJ. Tell us what that moment was like in creating that concept.
Well, guess what? You're not going to get that out of me.
Oh,
I'm going to defer that question to DJ JJ and Mandrill.
Okay.
I was going to basically say that was one magical time of the year that the management of the Clubhouse turned the Clubhouse over to its staff, which allowed them to have a theme party and invite as many guests as they wanted that didn't have to be members to the special theme party, to the special event.
Wow.
I just think that's, I know I was going to be wrapping up soon. I just want to take 2 seconds to say to you from the bottom of my heart, as a young boy growing up, how important the Clubhouse was to me. And I want to say thank you for creating that space that Alvin mentioned. I'm not trying not to get emotional about it, but it really, as he said, created a safe space for us in ways that provided us restoration and inspiration and just the ability to just be free for a couple of hours is listening to great music. So I just want to say personally to you, thank you. It's such an honor to meet you, and thank you personally.
Well, I really appreciate that. And just the other day, a guy came up to me and he thanked me just like you did. But he said, you saved my life. I said, what? He said, my parents had kicked me out a Saturday night and I had no place to go. And I ended up at the Clubhouse and I talked to somebody to let me come in on their membership. And since then, I've never looked back.
That's what I'm talking about. Ladies and gentlemen, please, all in the clicks, you all, I see you all out there. Let's give a round of applause or clicks to the man who started our lives, ladies and gentlemen, the Clubhouse, Mr. John Eddy. Thank you for being here, John. And thank you for just
thank you for being members and coming to the Clubhouse.
How about that? Okay.
I listened to you too earlier, telling you about your experience, and that took me back to very, very good times.
It is very true. Well, don't leave. We're going to bring you back at the end of the show, John. Thank you for joining us tonight. Really appreciate it, man. Thank you. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna. I mean, Bobby, come on now. Come on. That's some history right there. Okay.
Yes.
And I'm telling you all about this show tonight. It will go down the weekend of May the 24th. So make sure you get your tickets. But right now, we're going to introduce you to the folks who are making that weekend happen. And first, I'm going to start out with introducing one of the key persons in that whole arena of producers, and DJ JJ, ladies and gentlemen. He's a native Washingtonian and has been DJing for over 40 years. He has helped various venues and clubs in the DMV, including the Clubhouse, the Sunset Palace, the Brass Rail that some of you on here know, the Bachelor's Mill, Tracks, and the Buck Stop here.
Oh, Lord. And the legacy continues because, of course, we also have Chosen, the house head, Chosen the house head, aka Chosen. Of course, that's his abbreviated name. He's a DJ promoter, party host, owner, and CEO of Househead Thread. He's a co-owner of Milk Chocolate City parties and promotions based in DC. That's Chosen.
And last but not least, we have record producer and music maestro extraordinaire, DJ Mandrill Harris, who launched his professional career in Baltimore, Maryland on a Friday and Saturday night residency at a place called the Children's Place from the fall of 1978 through the summer of 1981. And during that time, he was invited to guest DJ at the Clubhouse in Washington, D.C., which is the Clubhouse used to be the sister club to the Paradise Garage, and Philadelphia's the Catacomb. But soon after, it became his primary residency from 1978 to 1990 when it closed. In 1977, he founded his own label, Drill Impulse Records, and released Body Thrill Between Feeling, Total Ecstasy out of France. France, for Me, by way of Dr. Free. A Washington Project DJ Mandrill Night Beat by Poji Records in Baltimore. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome DJ JJ, DJ Chosen, and DJ Mandrill.
Woo, Lord.
Hey, my goodness. I got all of y'all in one show. Are you kidding me?
Okay, come on now. Here we go.
All of y'all, thank you guys for being here tonight. Thank you for being here. It was a major effort to grab all of you all and get you all on one panel. So, we're going to go ahead and we're going to keep these questions rolling because it is about making sure that people come out on Sunday, May the 25th to the 50th anniversary.
I am loving all of this melanin and all this baldness that's going on right now. So I'm going to ask each of you. I just love it. I love it. So,
there's a pattern here.
I love it. So you've all been introduced, but I'm going to ask you very quickly because we got lots of questions for you guys. For each of you to kind of share how you first became affiliated with the Clubhouse. So JJ, we're going to start with you. You're muted, my brother. We can't hear you.
See, and he's a DJ. Look, unmute.
There you go.
Okay, here we go. The Clubhouse, Clubhouse opened in 1975, and right out of high school, I went to the Clubhouse in 1978. And that was an experience for me. It kind of changed my life. So if you think about it, doing these reunions and doing the anniversary, obviously it had a huge impact on me.
Yes.
To the point that I'm expressing my passion as far as what the Clubhouse was about for me. Yes. And in doing this, I'm finding out from so many people that it's not just me, but it affected everybody who literally went into the Clubhouse. Mm-hmm. And more or less, I just kind of, excuse me, I get a little emotional with that. But yeah, it definitely meant a lot to me.
Amen. Amen. I love that. I love that. Chosen, how about your story? How did you become affiliated with it?
Wow. Just if I had to answer that question, it would take just doing a lot of local parties around the DC area. When I first came to DC and started doing house music events and kept hearing about the Clubhouse. I kept hearing this name, the Clubhouse, and I kept hearing about Mandrill. And I'm like, who the hell is Mandrill? Like for the fourth or fifth time, I kept hearing, you got to get Mandrill. You got to get Mandrill to do one of your events. And JJ and I was doing an event together, our first event together. And the energy was, I had never worked with JJ before, and the energy was so crazy. I was like, JJ, how can we get this energy again? And he mentioned a Clubhouse reunion. And, you know, I always thought about the Paradise Garage. I knew about the Paradise Garage reunion. So when he mentioned that, I was like, well, there's never been a reunion. And I know how the Paradise Garage always has successful events. And I was like, let's do a reunion. And kind of, I became a student after that and just started learning everything I could. Because I've never been to the Clubhouse, but just hearing the stories that John told, JJ told, Mandrill told, Tito told, it just kind of captivated me, and I became like a bookworm, I guess.
I love it.
I said in my bio how Mandrill got drafted, if you will, to become the resident DJ. So I'm going to get a little deeper in that question for you, Mandrill, and say, what was it like when you got that call?
I danced around my basement when I got they were very formal. I received a letter in the mail asking me to do a guest spot when I submitted a cassette tape to Andre, who was the general manager. I was really close to a DJ that was there named Bryce Tarry, who was from the Loft and from New York. So he was currently the DJ when I started going to the Clubhouse in 9 months after it opened, January of 1976. We became friends, hung out a lot together, and then he told me 3 or 4 months in that he was going to be leaving. So I gave Andre a cassette of me playing at the Children's Place in Baltimore, where I had been playing for maybe about a year and a half. And he, from that tape, decided to, I got a letter in the mail asking me if I would be willing to do a guest spot. It was very formal. And I remember I was in Howard University, my sophomore year at Howard University, and I was living in Northeast, or in the Fort Totten area, really, really close to where John Eddy's talking about the Zodiac Club used to be, in a woman's basement. And I remember dancing around the basement saying, "Oh, I'm going to have a good time there," because I'd always gone to the Clubhouse, but I had never played there. I was playing in a club owned by two women in Baltimore. But so I was delighted when he asked me to do the guest spot. And Tito, who was a resident DJ there, he wasn't the Saturday night DJ then. Bryce was, but Tito was an advocate for me because there were several people auditioned who wanted that spot. And Tito, I think Andre asked Tito of the selection of people who he thought that he should hire, and Tito told him me. For the guest spot. Once I did the guest spot, I then got another letter asking to become a resident.
Well, all I can say is they made the right choice because I know you, Gemini brother. Okay, I know you. So for our viewers though, being that you had this, oh my God, just to have the opportunity to stand behind those turntables, you know, the music was transformative for all of us. It just transformed us. So, and part of the magic. So take us inside for a night and tell us what it was like what was the Clubhouse experience like from your perspective, from behind the turntables looking out into the audience.
I think what's kind of important to understand about the Clubhouse, and it was really so much about community. I mean, sure, it was a nightclub, but we didn't sell liquor. And so people came in there and just danced and brought great energy in. And they were really all about experiencing what a night would be like. You got to remember, in 1975, disco was a real kind of a new thing. And it was kind of the thing everybody did, at least for the first 5 to 6 years. Everybody somewhere was going to a nightclub somewhere. And it was this new thing to experience sort of groupthink in a room full of people dancing to beautiful music on overwhelmingly beautiful sounding sound systems. We lucked up because we had a Richard Long sound system, one of the few experimental Richard Long sound systems. As he was building his career in audio technology, he would bring new equipment down to the Clubhouse all the time for us to test out. And so we all had this, all the clubs, and a lot of the other nightclubs in Washington used to come, the DJs after they closed would come to the Clubhouse on Saturday night because they knew we were going to be open at least 3 more hours and to experience the Richard Long sound system. So what a lot of people don't understand, the Clubhouse was built for partying, not for socializing. Mm-hmm. And so the sound system was everywhere. And though we had a balcony, a chill room and the balcony, a lounge for people, and smaller rooms on the sides, the whole room was the dance floor. And you were surrounded by music, which is the best way to get a fuller sound. So it's kind of really overwhelming. And then we're talking about a period of time in this country where people were on substances not necessarily healthy for them. And it was, even if there was only 30 to 40% of the crowd in those spaces, psychologically, they pull that energy up. So there was a complete groupthink, amazing, overwhelming, vibrant vibe the entire night. That's one of the reasons we got into the good vibration sort of theme around our regular Saturday night parties. Friday night was predominantly a straight crowd. Those folks came in there to party. They might have got some numbers at the end of the night, but they came in there to throw down. And a Saturday night party, people would come in and be ready. I mean, as they were coming in, people would start throwing their clothes and sitting their clothes on the chairs that lined the walls and just start dancing. There was always a jovialness, a lightheartedness, camaraderie going on in that space where you weren't frowned on simply because you had this particular outfit on and that particular outfit on, even though the kids would dress up and carry on like anything. But I remember one time on one of our, I think it was an event, maybe an anniversary or either Halloween, somebody came in roller skates and danced around in roller skates the whole night. And that was something that people were delighted to see and witness. It wasn't like, who the hell you think you are? It was more like, oh, is this a great energy? So people in a lot of the clubs, they don't understand the positivity that went on with the group think, and people coming into that space new and seeing all these really attractive men and women just smiling ear to ear and arms in the air and smile and dancing their hearts out, and they're like, oh, this can be for me too. It was such a shock to so many people would tell me their first time in there. It was so shocking to see this many gay or lesbian people enjoying themselves, finding freedom, finding emotional support, and having this experience of just letting all the cares, fall off their shoulders for these 5 to 6 to 7 or 8 hours that we're here partying. So it became so much more to so many people. But I loved it because the evening, we opened at 12:30. I was the East Side DJ mostly, and the East Side didn't open up until 1:30, 2 o'clock. But we'd open at 12:30, and as they would come in, by the time the East Side opened, it generally opened when it was already getting full on the bigger side. It wasn't that much smaller. I think the big side held 800 or 900, and the small side presumably held 500. But many nights there was more people than that on both sides, and it was a nice balance, playing various styles of music along with what Tita would play, because that also what was important back in the day is that clubs sort of dictated to radio what to play, because nightclubs got the music first, and radio jocks often would play what they heard at the club that Saturday before, and next week it'd be in the program. So it was just lots of things going on, and why the music was so diverse, and there were so many different styles. We played rock, we played R&B, we played disco, we played funk. It was really a really well gelled machine, but all sort of catering to positivity and enlightenment, and sort of giving people lyrics that they can understand, that would relate to their lives and their experiences. It was a perfect storm in some ways.
Incredible moment.
Before you guys go on, let me first of all thank our viewers. We have some of the most faithful viewers in the world, and I'm just letting you all know we will be running past 8 o'clock. We have some surprises for you tonight and some more information that we want to share. But I want to thank you all for joining us. And oldest Buddy Sudson, thank you for being here tonight. I haven't seen that name since oh my God. But Mandrill, thank you for saying what you said. One of the viewers just said, well said. Well said. Thank you for taking us into your space. Thank you. You
did a beautiful job of describing the magic of that clubhouse and in its description and all of those things. And I, as one who was there, I completely agree with you. So this Memorial Day weekend is the big weekend. It's Sunday, May 25th at Bravo, where we're going to celebrate the 50th anniversary of the historic Children's Hour. And it's featuring the performances of none other than Rochelle Fleming of First Choice. She's going to be performing right there. And so we're very excited about that. So for all of you who are going to be involved with the anniversary, how does it feel to be back after 2 years? Because we took a little bit of a hiatus. And what can people expect on that big day, on the 25th, the celebration, the 50th celebration? What can we expect? Because I'm planning on being there. Anybody else? But Alvin and I are going to be on that dance floor. We know that.
Yeah. Well, let me tell you, I consciously decided not to do a reunion in 2024 because as I looked up at the calendar, I said, oh my God, the Clubhouse is going to be 50 in 2025. So I said I wanted to do it bigger and better than I did before. So I wanted to make this occasion very special, not just a reunion, but to celebrate the Clubhouse and paying homage to Children's Hour. Yeah. Now, granted, Children's Hour, the concept of Children's Hour back then was, as John Eddy said, a theme party. And I didn't go with a theme. I'm just paying homage to the name Children's Hour because when people hear Children's Hour, they get very excited about it. And that's where the term, you know, if you belong, you know, it will literally make people tick. So anyway, I said, okay, this is what I want to do. In the tradition of the Clubhouse, I want to have an artist to come to perform, but the artist that I wanted was an artist that performed at the Clubhouse, who still performs today, to come back to perform for the 50th anniversary. So I had a few to choose from, and of course, they didn't work out. And then by the magic of Teddy Douglas, Teddy pointed me in a direction of how to get Rochelle. He just pointed me there and he let me go and said, you're on your own. So,
and JJ, for those of you who don't know Teddy Douglas, he is a renowned DJ in the Baltimore area. Yeah. In Baltimore. If you do any type of partying in house music in Baltimore, you know Teddy Douglas. Okay. Yeah. So
and he's a member of Basement Boy Productions, which brought you a lot of hits.
If you see his name, buy a ticket. Okay,
right.
I'm sorry.
So we managed to book Rochelle, and then I found out. Now, this is breaking news.
Okay, we love breaking news on He Said.
First Choice has never performed at the Clubhouse.
No, they haven't.
They have not. And when I talked to John about it, I was like, wow, so you mean to say it took 50 years for me to get her to come to?
Wow. 50 years. 50 years amongst some of the, in addition, 50 years, First Choice hasn't been there, but there have been other artists of that caliber. Absolutely. That have been through the Clubhouse.
Oh, many.
Exactly. Let me give you a few. Cheryl Lynn, Nona Hendricks, Sylvester, Colonel Abrams, Lolita Holloway, Jocelyn Brown, Jean Carn, Gwen Guthrie, Tremaine Hawkins, Jeannie Harris, the Basement Boys, Sybil, Carolyn Williams, Andre Wheeler, Dar Braxton, Arnold Jarvis, Ken City, Fonda Ray.
Okay. We got you. We got you. Okay. Okay. The Clubhouse was doing some stuff. Okay, JJ, we got you. I'm sorry to interrupt.
There's going to be a performance, obviously. What else can they expect out of that particular celebration?
Say it again.
Great music and energy.
What'd you say?
I said great music and energy.
Yes, Chosen. That's what we're looking for on that anniversary.
One thing that you're definitely going to get a lot of. You're definitely going to hear what I've been on presenting, and DJ and myself are both very committed to doing, is establishing and playing the music from the 15-year house was a go-to for so many people of in the life in this particular community. That means if you started coming to the Clubhouse in '86, there's going to be some music that you do not know, and you have to open your mind to experience it. If you stop coming in '84, then there's going to be other music that you're not going to be familiar with. So we started out very much in a very disco R&B mode, and even psychedelic disco in the '75, and then it moved into what we called underground music, which between '84 and '85 started turning into what's called now house music. But there are tons of records, all speeds and all genres, that were Clubhouse classics. And that is what is the most important thing about this event, is to celebrate the lives of the many people who have passed who gave up their internet dance floor to records, as you know, like Another Loss by Queen, or Do You Want to Get Funky With Me by Peter Brown, or Anita Ward, Ring My Bell, along with the Bionic Boogies, Risky Changes, and JM Silk, Don't You Want Some More? And you know, and the damn takeover, I can't turn around, and you know, girl, fake the feeling. There just is a wealth of music from 15 years, and we're going to do as best as we can to get much of it in, and that will contribute. That will be music that is funky. That will be music that is disco. That is music that will be rock influenced. It will be music that is house influenced, and because that's what the Clubhouse was,
and I think
that is what we celebrate. The legacy.
That's it. You answered my next question about legacy, because you've said that people will leave, whatever generation or whatever period they were there, they'll come and leave with an understanding of the depth and the breadth of the Clubhouse, that it was broad and it was inclusive.
Every time, exactly. Every time, I just want to say, just last thing, every time I get behind a turntable for an audience of people, what I'm interested in is turning on some of the people in that room some of the time. I don't have a 100% idea of turning everybody on 100%, because that is not realistic. That is not life. That is not humanity. Everything ebbs and flows. So there will be times when you'll be like, what was that? Who is that? But there's somebody else losing their mind on the dance floor. And that is why it's important to represent the entire 15 years.
Absolutely.
And I'll make a statement at the beginning of part two.
Well, first of all, Mandrill, JJ, Chosen.
Yes, sir.
Thank you all for joining us on the panel tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, you can go to Eventbrite to find to get your ticket. And of course, he said we'll be promoting and putting the information out there throughout for the next 2 weeks or so. We will be there. I know Bobby and I will be there, and several people on this stream will be there as well. But I want to thank you all for doing what you're doing, and you can click the link. You can click the link and go right to where you can buy tickets. They are available. But we are looking forward to seeing you guys. Don't go away. We're going to bring you back. But ladies and gentlemen, DJ Mandrill, DJ JJ, DJ Chosen, thank you guys for being here tonight. Thank you.
Oh, Lord. Thank you. Oh, Lord. I just, ooh.
Well, see, and you know, Bobby, the thing is, again, this is a weekend where there's so much going on. And I just thought for this episode, because the next era and genre of house music is happening right around us. And on the 24th of May, the day before the Clubhouse event, a free event will also be happening in DC. And in our segment, We See You, we're going to bring DJ Jordan, aka DJ Tantra.
I love it. The same weekend. Well, I mean, it's incredible.
So if you don't mind, I want to go ahead and give him an introduction and bring him in here right now. He is the founder of the Capitol House Music Festival in America's capital. Tantra is a New York-born pioneer artist, DJ, producer, and entertainment manager. DJ Tantra made musical arrangements for his late friend Teddy Pendergrass. Last release, I Am Who I Am, and managed his estate, as well as legendary Jean Carn, who we just heard her name tonight, soulful Nicole Renee, and an impresario, Dennis Wilson. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the He Said stage tonight, DJ Tantra. Man.
Hey. I got to live up to that. Wow. Just to follow those legends and the legendary music of DC and the Clubhouse is just incredible. Thank you so much, Alvin and Bobby, for having me. You can just call me Tantra. You can call me Jordan. It's plain and simple.
Just call him. He said, just call.
I just want to say, first of all, thank you for being here. This is my first time meeting you. And I've been dancing for 65 years. And so this is the first time meeting you. So the pleasure is mine. because you know what you're doing right. What you're doing is keeping house music alive as well. And so thank you for being here tonight. Really do appreciate it. Yeah,
if I may, I have a little Clubhouse story, which is kind of a
Oh,
Clubhouse story. Is
give it
that
to us.
I'm a little younger, not that much, but I'm getting close to 60. But I had a fake ID from the time I was 14, and we meandered down to DC quite often, and those were the times when we imbibed on many things. But I'm pretty sure I told JJ this. I'm pretty sure I was at the Clubhouse around about 82, 84, but I was severely under the influence.
Okay, all right then.
Okay, like this water that we're drinking tonight.
But that was
all right.
it was a different time.
Of course.
It wasn't okay. We got you, and you're still here.
And I'm still here. I do not do those things anymore.
Tantra, you are indeed the founder of the Capitol House Music Festival. And, you know, as one who loves house music, you know, I'm just curious to what led you to start it?
Well, first of all, you know, it took a lot to do this, and I've worked closely with Chris Randolph and Milk Chocolate City. He's been a producing partner of ours, as in JJ also has been a consultant and dear friend of the Capitol House Music Festival. Really, you know what happened is I'm from New York and I'm a househead, and like I said, I've been down here many a nights back in the day, and to clubs all around, Paradise Garage and Paradox and T. Alfred's parties up in Philly, Temple parties in the 90s. When I got here, I was like, well, you know, where's the thing?
Mm-hmm.
And there really wasn't a thing. And I had met Sam the Man Burns, and he had did an event years ago. And it was a festival, and it came together, and it happened. And it's a really it's a heavy lift.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, the government and the city is not really so quick to kind of help. There are a lot of cities like Chicago where the city comes alive. You see all up and down in Jersey and in Brooklyn, the city is really helping to put on these events, because what it is just kind of like the Clubhouse. You know, it's a place where people come together in unity and spirituality. You don't have to worry about that somebody's going to pick up your bag. You don't have to worry about somebody stepping on your Jordans. You know,
Right.
It's a place. It's a place because the music and concept is a place of love. And I learned this my personal story is I learned this from who was a big brother, my uncle. He was 6 years older than me, and I started playing decades ago. I was barely 10 years old, and he practiced in a club, and he used to take me because back then, you know, the equipment was expensive, and the only place that DJs could practice was in the nightclub in the daytime. And I would be in the booth with him, and I didn't notice that it was all guys in this club in Queens up on Hillside Avenue until I was older, that I realized that it was a gay club. But I loved him, and I've been passionate about HIV and STD issues because my uncle succumbed to complications from HIV, and he didn't have to die.
I'm sorry.
He passed in 99, and he was a big brother to me. So I've always had an elder gay statesman in my life that I looked up to, and he's molded me about this music on this. And you know, if you're from New York, you said disco. This was 4 on the Floor. They played this on WBLS, and we danced every Friday, Saturday night. We were rocking. So it was really that. I was like, where's the thing? And Sam the Man Burns did an event, and then he couldn't do it again. Just you know, it's the dynamics and the expenses.
Yes.
Fortunately, I run an entertainment company, Crisis Entertainment, and I do a lot of corporate and social events. I do events for galas and embassies and stuff like that. So we have a lot of the infrastructure that you need to do this. And basically, pretty much everything you see on that stage is owned by my company.
Wow.
We bring in some things and we use our own labor. It's a labor of love. You know, we don't make any money. It's a free event. So Sam was with us for the first couple events. So that was really the inspiration, that it was a void.
Well,
you filled it.
You've already mentioned his name, and so for the viewers who are watching this show tonight, if you know anything about house in DC, you know Sam the Man Burns. And so, as I mentioned, one of the key highlights of the Cap House Festival, which is happening on May the 24th, and we've already put up the website for you to go register for tickets. I've already done that. Again, you are paying tribute to DJ Sam the Man Burns. Can you share, like, is there your personal connection and why you've chosen to honor this wonderful DJ the way you are for this event?
So I mean, loosely, he was a founding part of this, and Sam was our headliner for the first three events that we did. Chosen can correct me. I think it's 2017, 2018, 19, and 20, and then going into 20. And Sam, as most people know, Sam passed right before COVID, literally right before COVID, March 7th.
March 7th.
And we went into COVID, and actually Chosen and I played that last night at ESL where Sam had his Sunday service, his residency. Soul Solutions, I believe that's what it was called. And we went into COVID and we went into lockdown, and we couldn't do anything. All the gatherings, which substantially hurt my business. And what happened was, when we had that little blip coming out in 2021, the Mayor's Office of Public Affairs called us, I remember, because it was 19 days before Sam's birthday in May. And they called us and they said, you had this festival that you did with Sam. What are you going to do for Sam's birthday? And I'm like, well, what can we do? And they came full behind us, the health department and everything. They expressed all the permits, because typically to do a permit for this,
it's crazy.
It's a lot, especially, and we did this in Malcolm X Park, Meridian Hill Park, is a national park, national part of the National Park Service. It takes a lot. It's a lot to do it, and there's a lot of checks, and typically they like it 6 months out. But with the might of the city and the mayor, we were able to put this together in 19 days. And it was the biggest celebration that in our world, at least, that I've seen. The MPS estimates that it was upwards of 5,600 people in the park.
I was there. Yes.
And I can say this, and I think a part of it was, that we had been trapped and we hadn't been out, and and we felt free again. But I can say that it's probably one of the two most touching points of me being in an event and playing. While I was playing, I looked down and I saw no less than a dozen people dancing and crying.
Yeah. It gave him freedom. It gave him
freedom and joy.
Yeah.
House music will do that.
Yeah.
So what happened from that is we made the decision, Chosen, Chris Randolph and we made the decision that we were going to, every event, the open summer, the official summer opener would be the salute to Sam the Man Burns, and then we would close the summer with the Capitol House Music Festival. They're both the same, but that is the tribute. So now we're on number 5, and we were approached by Capitol Pride last year. And last year we had Crystal Waters and Teddy Douglas, that banging DJ from Baltimore you were talking about.
We were there,
but they approached us to be a part of World Pride. So not only are we official World Pride event, which I'm also even more proud to be an official DC Black Pride event. The key thing with the Salute to Sam the Man Burns is that all the talent are people that knew and loved and had personal connections and relationships with Sam the Man Burns. Also with that, we've raised some money. We helped his son Mason with a scholarship when he went off to school, we also got him a laptop and we help him with books. And then Chris and I also there. We could never do anything to take place of what Sam was, but we're always there and we're always checking on him and we're always talking to him. Talking to Mason, and he's just grown up to be a stellar young man. It was he on his 21st birthday, he happened to peep into a house party, which really hadn't been his lane. He always came up, and he got into a little cipher with some of his homies. So we're just really, 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 really proud of Mason and to see him shine and come into his own manhood.
It's a beautiful thing.
Well, I'm going to tell you, you have just opened the doors to a very big surprise, Tantra, that hit me like Thursday morning or probably late Wednesday. And I had only met, first of all, I'd only met Mason one time, maybe once or twice. He didn't remember me because he was such a kid when I met him. But I thought since tonight, we're talking about love and we're talking about legacy and we're talking about, just keeping hope alive and family. I thought it would be a great idea to close this segment out to invite Mason on the show tonight. And he humbly agreed and was available. So, ladies and gentlemen, this really means a lot to me to close this show out. I wanted Mason to be here, and he took his time out to be here. I can't even get it out of my mouth. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome one of the reasons Sam the Man Burns has touched all of our heart is his legacy still lives on through his son, Mason. Mason, are you here? There he is. Mason Burns.
Hello, how y'all doing?
Hey, Mason. That's my
Mason,
man.
thank you for Tantra just told us, man, we're proud of you. I'm proud of you through social media. So I'm just proud of you because I've been watching you do what you do. But I wanted to bring you here to have you close the show and to let us know, how do you feel about your father's legacy in this world of house music and all the love that he has received and still receives from the house music community that believes in him?
Yeah, first, it feels amazing to know that he was so loved by many. And sometimes me doing my own thing as an individual, because I got into house music as well, what Jordan has said. It never really was been my main thing. Like, I always had a love for it, but I gained a passion for it now because of like my father and my mom and stuff like that. And I'm in this program called Grammy U, and when I met like Common and Pete Rock. Those are on the hip hop side of things. And when I realized like Pete Rock met my dad and he know who he is, it kind of opened my eyes to he's much bigger than just in house music or just in DC or the DMV. Like it makes me realize how big he was, and it inspires me a lot to be who I am today. And I carry his legacy. I carry him on literally through me. He lived through me now. I even have like a tattoo just representing me and him and stuff like that. So it's a lot I have to say, but to kind of keep it short, it's amazing. And it's amazing to feel loved by many and people always coming up to me and saying mindful and heartful things about him and stories, and even about me, where he always talked about me all the time. And I didn't really know that until unfortunately when he passed. But right now I'm at a place now where I'm healed. I accepted his passing and really just carry on with life, knowing that he's still with me spiritually and he lives through me now. So a lot of his personality is me, like, and I'm him. I'm the JR. He was like my brother and my best friend, not just my father. So I'm him. So
That's beautiful. That's beautiful, man. Thank you for joining us.
And
Thank
Bobby,
you.
I'd like to add that Mason's going to be on stage every year. We give the Sam the Man Burns Award, and Mason is going to present it this year, and his mother will be there, Rita Burns. And the great thing about Sam, which we all know, is that when he did Underground Soul Solutions, everybody was welcome. And that's also part of the diversity of the festival that we do. And his name is Everybody's Welcome. Our lineup is extremely diverse. It's usually pretty much at least 50%. I like to call it the alphabet because it's too many letters. LBG, 50% of the alphabet.
I just say, and I say this with a lot of sensitivity, Labitiqua. Okay, but
Labitiqua.
Labitiqua.
Yeah, it's hard to say.
And I'm a part of the Labitiqua community, so I can say it. So we just say Labitiqua.
Yes, Labitiqua. And also with that to add, we've added some flair too in that light. We have DeAndre Superstar Parker, who's curating an illusionist performance with, and we're adding that to the show in the lineup. Our lighting expert that's going to be running our lighting is a LGBTQ owned company. We are really diverse, and we're looking to show diversity. We love the youth, and Mason has been bringing more young people in the fold, and it is really important to have this generationally. We've had about a half dozen DJs that are under 22.
Wow.
We're really trying to spread this and move this, in other directions. And again, I'll say this is a free event. We ask you to register for tickets online at caphousefest.com. It's through Eventbrite because we're trying to keep capacity. But it's all day, and this is the biggest and longest one we've ever done. It's going to be 12 nonstop hours. Oh my God. 10 a.m. to 10 p.m.
Well, I have already registered, and first of all, Tantra, thank you so much, man. Nice to meet you. Mason Burns, now you're close to my heart, okay? Because I want to thank your mother, Rita Burns, who I love me some Rita Burns. She knows that. And thank you for coming here on such short notice and sharing with us about your dad. We love him, and now just hearing that you're carrying his legacy, it means a lot to us. So can we bring everybody back to the I don't know if they're still back there. Can we bring them back to the panel again?
Oh Lord. Look at this. Look at this.
They're still here. They're still here. So, but before we close the show, Bobby and I, we always have our words of the week before we do that, and we thank everybody. But I'm going to change it up a bit, and I'm just going to go ahead and thank everybody. Well, my producer said, say the words of the week. God created Black people, and Black people created style. And that was by George C. Wolfe. Those are our words of the week this week, ladies and gentlemen. I want to thank everybody. I'm going to say from the Clubhouse community, John Eddy, Mandrill, JJ, Chosen. Thank you all for being here tonight to share that. You know how I'm a huge supporter, and I will do whatever I can. JJ knows that. I'm a man of my word, so I'm on the ground running. So I thank you all for being here and sharing with Bobby and I. Tantra, I'll see you on the 24th. Nice to meet you, my brother. Mason, now I'm part of the family. You're part of the family. Okay, I'm watching you. We see you. And so I just want to thank all of you all for joining us tonight. We ran over, but it was a good run over. So until next week, ladies and gentlemen, you all have a great weekend. Happy Mother's Day. And we will see you on the next episode of He Said.
He said.
Y'all can say it.
He said.
All right.
Thank you all. Have a great night.
Take it easy, everybody.
See y'all on the dance floor.
See you on the dance floor.
Positive vibes out to you.